And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Dustin Crawford, who writes, "Hey, John and crew. It was just announced that Will Poulter will be playing Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I've got to say, it seems sort of outside the box. That's an understatement. Definitely not the type of actor I was expecting for that role, but honestly, I kind of dig it. Poulter is a solid actor who I'm always more than happy to see on screen, and I think he'll bring a very unique presence to the role. What do you think of the casting?" All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, listen, you want to say out of the box casting? Mark this one down. This is one of the great examples, I think, of a casting that I never would have guessed in 1,000 guesses, but I absolutely love. Never would have guessed this. You can give me 1,000 chances to guess, 10,000 chances to guess. I probably never would have come up with the name Will Poulter. I probably never would have come up with that name. I probably never would have got there. But then you say it's Will Poulter, and I go, really? Oh my God, that's actually really good. That's actually really good. Will Poulter. Now look, I understand a lot of people, when they think of Will Poulter, they'll think of, oh damn, what's that comedy he did with Jason Sudeikis? We're the Millers? Yeah. They'll think of him as playing the Virgin in We're the Millers. And yes, he is very, very funny in that, right? But you don't look at the Virgin kid in We're the Millers and instantly think of major MCU superhero. You can think of him in Maze Runner. And he's good in Maze Runner. But you don't think that's a dude who's going to be one of the most powerful heroes in the MCU, or at least in the comics, one of the most powerful characters in the comics. And that's the guy who's going to be doing it. I want to bring to your attention a movie that he did a couple of years ago that I, without exaggeration or hyperbole, I totally believe he should have been nominated and in serious contention to win Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards. Let me look over to the live chat, see if any of you guys know what movie I'm talking about here. There was a movie he did a couple of years ago that I believe there is a solid argument he could have been a front runner to win at the Academy Awards. Casey Mack sends in Detroit. Detroit. This dude in Detroit is unbelievable. I remember, first of all, Detroit is a fantastic movie. Just flat out in and of itself is an absolutely fantastic movie. It really, really is. But within that fantastic movie, filled with fantastic performances, Will Poulter plays the term dirty cop doesn't necessarily, let's just say a morally questionable cop in Detroit. Let's put it that way. A morally compromised. That's how I'm going to put it. Will Poulter plays a morally compromised cop, a absolutely terrible person who doesn't see himself as terrible. It was the kind of role that I never would have imagined seeing a guy like Will Poulter in. And yet there he was, this gritty, dangerous, morally compromised cop character in the midst of this incredible story where he was acting up against some other incredible performances, like mind-boggling performances in it, and he stood out. He stood out to me. And he was amazing in it. And it's when I saw Detroit, like I always liked him. Like I always liked Will Poulter because of all the other things we talked about. But it's when I saw Detroit that I'm like, oh, damn, this dude's for real. He's not just a quirky dude who can do little fun comedy like We're the Millers or whatever. This dude's for real. So then that brings up the question, can it be Adam Warlock? Now, for those of you who don't know a lot about Adam Warlock, technically speaking in the comics, I believe he first came about, I believe it was in Fantastic Four. And in the 60s when Adam Warlock was created, he was actually created by human beings on Earth, like human scientists on Earth actually created him. And I believe originally he had the Soul Stone as a part of his entity. It was the Soul Stone was a part of said, kind of like what they did with Vision with the Mind Stone in Vision. And he is kind of became what's known as a galactic character. Initially, he was known for his battles with Thor. I believe there was this one storyline, like one of Adam Warlock's first storylines when he literally stole Thor's girlfriend. Like literally grabbed her and kidnapped his girlfriend because he wanted to marry Thor's girlfriend, if I remember it right. Anyway. But as Marvel evolved him over the years, like he became very identifiable with all things Infinity War, including all the Infinity storylines in the Marvel comics. He was very closely associated with Thanos. And then one of the biggest threats in the Marvel comics was this character Magus. Magus is, I think it's Magus. I don't think there's an N. Maybe there's an N in there. Maybe there's not. Those of you in the live chat, correct me if I'm wrong. But Magus, who turns out Magus was this character who was actually from the future and was Adam Warlock. That at some point in the future, Adam Warlock became corrupted by the power of the Soul Stone and all this kind of stuff and became the ultimate evil in the universe. And now he's like kind of fighting against himself. There's a lot of cool storylines in there. Now, obviously, in the MCU, they're going to be going with a different thing. This was, of course, something that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Remember that alien race was creating a being to go after the Guardians. And she said, what's it called? And she goes, Adam. And which, of course, everyone, oh my God, they're bringing in Adam Warlock. And then we haven't heard anything about Adam Warlock since. Well, now we know they are. This has been confirmed by Deadline and by James Gunn himself. James Gunn put out a social media post welcoming Will Poulter to the MCU universe. This comes to us from Variety, who writes, one of Marvel's most powerful superheroes is finally joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Will Poulter, Midsommar, has landed the role of Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which writer-director James Gunn is set to start shooting later this year. Welcome to the Guardians family, Will Poulter, Gunn posted on Twitter on Monday. He's an amazing actor and wonderful guy. See you in a couple of weeks. So it's all official. He's playing it. Now, the question then kind of becomes, is he the right guy to play Adam Warlock? And it's difficult. Is he a good fit to play Adam Warlock? It's difficult to answer that because we haven't read the script. Like, you and I haven't read the script. Obviously, this is not the Adam Warlock exactly from the comics because he wasn't created for the Fantastic Four by a bunch of human scientists on Earth in the 60s, right? So they're already departing from it. So how is James Gunn going to write this character? And without knowing how James Gunn has written the character, it's very difficult to say who would or wouldn't be a good fit to play the character. But I recognized in the live chat before the show started, some people were talking, what some of you guys in the live chat were talking, and you're pointing out that, hey, listen, if they could make Kumail Nanjiani a superhero in the MCU, they can make anybody a superhero in the MCU. And that was a really good point. So I am very excited about this. And, I've heard some people there are two things of speculation I want to address here. One, once news of Will Poulter coming to the MCU to play Adam Warlock came out, a lot of people speculated that this was the reason that Will Poulter left the Lord of the Rings project. Because remember, Will Poulter was supposed to be in that Amazon Lord of the Rings series? Well, that's not true. Because the Lord of the Rings series is already done shooting. At least season 1 is all done shooting. Whereas they haven't even started shooting Guardians of the Galaxy yet. So I really don't think that was going to be a problem. The other bit of speculation, and this one is more interesting. There are a bunch of people speculating that we could see Will Poulter in Thor Love and Thunder as Adam Warlock. And this is not the craziest theory. Now, you might say, but John, they've shot the movie. Yeah, but remember, by the time they announce the casting of an actor, that actor was probably already signed on for 6 months. Like, remember when the news of Ben Affleck being Batman first got released, we later found out he had actually signed the deal 6 months earlier. Maybe even longer. Maybe it was like 8 months earlier. I can't remember exactly. It is theoretically possible that Will Poulter actually signed up for this 3/4 of a year ago flew to Australia, was on set for Thor Love and Thunder for a couple of days to maybe shoot a post-credit scene or something at the very end. And of course, Thor's connection with the Guardians of the Galaxy would be a good entry point for Adam Warlock. So I'm guessing maybe, look, I'm not saying he's going to be in Thor Love and Thunder, but I'm not going to bet against the idea that he could be making a cameo in Thor Love and Thunder. I wouldn't bet against that. It's a possibility. It is a possibility. Not important, but it's impossibility. It's a possibility. So I don't know, guys, question is for you. What do you think about a couple things here? Number one, that it's now confirmed that Adam Warlock is finally making his introduction into the MCU. And two, and maybe more importantly, it's going to be played by by Will Poulter. If you're like me, you're like, that's not a name I thought about, but now that you know it, how do you feel about it? Do you think he's the wrong guy for it? Are you excited about the idea he's playing it? Whatever you guys are feeling, jump on down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.